Hello, thank you for visiting the Management Channel. We are now on part 2 of employee motivation. Again, the employee wants and needs, and methods of motivating the employee. Where we left off with is reinforcement theory. It's a theory that behavior is a function of its consequences. That behaviors followed by positive consequences will occur more frequently, and that behavior followed by negative consequences, or not positive consequences, will occur less frequently. Reinforcement is the process of changing behavior by changing the consequences that follow behavior. Reinforcement contingencies are the cause and effect relationships between the performance of specific behaviors and specific consequences. A schedule of reinforcement is rules that specify which behaviors will be reinforced, which consequences will follow those behaviors, and the schedule by which those consequences will be delivered. The process of changing behavior by changing the consequences that follow behavior are what's called reinforcement contingency. The components are positive reinforcement, reinforcement that strengthens behavior by following behaviors with some kind of a desirable consequence, like a reward. Negative reinforcement is reinforcement that strengthens behavior by withholding an unpleasant consequence when an employee performs a specific behavior. Punishment is reinforcement that weakens behavior by following behaviors with undesirable consequences. And extinction, it's reinforcement in which a positive consequence is no longer allowed to follow a previously reinforced behavior, thus weakening the behavior. There are a set of rules regarding reinforcement contingencies. Continuous reinforcement is a schedule that requires a consequence be administered following every instance of a behavior. Intermittent reinforcement, schedule in which consequences are delivered after a specified or average time has elapsed, or after a specified or average number of behaviors have occurred. A fixed interval is an intermittent schedule in which consequences follow behavior only after a fixed time has elapsed. Variable interval reinforcement is an intermittent schedule in which the time between a behavior and the following consequences varies around a specified average. Fixed ratio is the consequences are delivered following a specific number of behaviors. And a variable ratio reinforcement is where consequences are delivered following a different number of behaviors, sometimes more, sometimes less, and that vary around a specified average number of behaviors. When you're motivating with reinforcement, first, don't reinforce the wrong behavior. Never give reward to just average, everyday performance. Second, correctly administer punishment at the appropriate time. Don't delay it. Do it right away. Third, clearly define and explain what the appropriate behavior should be. And then finally, managers should select the most simplest and most effective reinforcement method. General guidelines for using reinforcement: make sure the employees know what behavior is expected and which one is reinforced. Select appropriate rewards. Select the appropriate reinforcement schedule. Do not reward mediocre or poor performance. Look to the positive and give praise regularly rather than focusing on any negativities and criticize. Do things for your employees instead of to them, and you will see that productivity increases. Herzberg's motivation hygiene theory was a theory that factors in the work environment primarily influence the degree of job dissatisfaction, while intrinsic job content factors influence the amount of employee motivation. Motivation factors are elements intrinsic in the job that promote job performance. Hygiene factors are elements in the work environment that, if positive, reduce dissatisfaction, but really don't tend to motivate. Motivation factors: opportunity for growth and advancement, achievement or accomplishment, recognition for accomplishments, challenging or interesting work, responsibility for work. The hygiene factors are the working conditions: money, status, and security. There's supervision, company policies and administration, and their interpersonal relationships. Now let's take a look at goal-setting theory. A goal is a target, objective, or result that someone tries to accomplish. The goal-setting theory is one that people will be motivated to the extent to which they accept specific, challenging goals and receive feedback that indicates their progress toward goal achievement, leading them hopefully to higher levels of motivation and performance. The components are goal specificity, extent to which goals are detailed, exact, and clearly defined; goal difficulty, extent to which a goal is hard or challenging to accomplish; goal acceptance, the extent to which people consciously understand and agree to pursue it; and performance feedback, information about the quality or quantity of their past performance that indicates whether progress is being made toward accomplishment. In motivating with goal-setting theory, first assign specific, challenging goals. Second, managers should make sure workers truly accept those goals. Third, allow employees to participate in the actual goal-setting process. And finally, managers should provide frequent, specific, performance-related feedback. Other methods to be used: job rotation, moving workers from one job to another job, requiring them to learn more tasks and prevent boredom in their present task or tunnel vision. Job enlargement is increasing the number of operations an individual performs to enhance the individual's satisfaction in work. Job enrichment is a process of incorporating motivators into a job situation. Flex time is a consideration where you allow workers to complete their jobs within a work week that they arrange themselves. Behavior modification is encouraging appropriate behavior by controlling the consequences of their behavior. And reinforcement, providing either positive reinforcement or negative reinforcement. Why not try out having a suggestion program? Try to implement a program that is not structured or formal system. Develop the culture where improvement suggestions become the everyday method of doing business and not just a special or occasional tactic. Encourage by asking your employees frequently, "What do you suggest?" and "What would you do?" Workers seem to be saying that they want more balance in their life, but they're not getting it. The 5 most desired qualities are ability to balance their work and their personal life, work that is really enjoyable and not mundane. They want to have security for the future. They'd like a good pay or salary. And they'd like to have enjoyable co-workers and a satisfying work environment. So make sure daily you give employees praise. Tell the employee exactly what was done correctly. Tell the employee why that behavior is important. Stop for a moment of silence and then encourage them to repeat performance. Always let your people know they're doing a good job. You get more by finding the good in people than you do by looking for the bad in people. Learning from the mistakes of others. I didn't give recognition to someone who turned out to be one of my best employees, and I soon lost her. That can happen. I didn't give credit when it was due to individuals who made major contributions. I failed to acknowledge someone who needed to be rewarded. I wish I had provided more opportunities for subordinates to engage in projects that they enjoyed. I didn't recognize my associates' birthdays or anniversaries. I didn't understand that my staff had reached a limit on their ability to produce. I was a little overly harsh in my criticism, and that brought about insecurities in my employees. And I didn't listen to the ideas of employees when they offered them, and now they just don't seem to care. Let's talk about coping with people who make your life difficult. Focus attention on what the person does and how it impacts others. For instance, work conditions that do not fulfill employee needs ultimately cause dissatisfaction and frustration. Other factors may cause some people to do things that make other people's life difficult. Incivility and other inappropriate behavior must be dealt with in a way that is proper and in a timely manner. Never put off a disciplinary action. Do it right away. Do not label people as difficult, no matter how difficult they make your life. Remember, it's the issue, not the person. Think in terms of difficult behaviors, not difficult people. The easiest way to cope with some people is to avoid them, but the easiest answer isn't always the best answer. Change your mindset and focus on what they do well. Accentuate the positive, build on their strengths. Take control of the situation. Get their attention by calling them by name. Most important, whenever you talk with someone, do it with it in private. Give them your undivided attention. Avoid accusations, ask open-ended questions, and always listen to their side of the story. Factually provide one specific illustration that shows or illustrates the problem behavior. Clearly state that you expect that behavior to improve. Focus on changing what they do, not who they are. Establish deadlines and timelines for the behavior to cease. And if the behavior does not change, consider asking upper management or someone else to step in, such as HR. Whenever you're counseling the employee, always use the sandwich technique. Start with something good about the employee, something positive. Interject the behavior that you want to change or that is posing you a problem, and then end on a positive statement or affirmation. This way the employee feels good. Don't start off negative and be negative the whole time. Let's take a look at the ABC method. Clearly identify what the employee is to do. Tell the employee what the job entails and what is expected in the way of performance. Give a timeline to complete the improvement. Monitor and give regular feedback. Thorndike introduced the law of effect. It's the behavior with favorable consequences is repeated. Behavior with unfavorable consequences tends to disappear. The steps are: regularly monitor the employee performance to uncover areas of low productivity and to identify the behavior leading to that undesired performance. Describe the performance you don't want and who is doing it. Record the specific behavior that needs to be changed. Determine all possible links between the antecedents, the undesirable behavior, and its consequences. Tell the employee what is expected in the way of performance, some specific goals. Set the stage for good performance. Eliminate any consequences that is irrelevant to the employee. Ensure an appropriate linkage between desired behavior and consequences the employee values. Monitor their performance. Provide support and feedback. Reinforce the positive aspects of the employee's performance with consequences the employee values. Ensure the consequences are positive, immediate, and certain. And evaluate the results and continue to reinforce the desired behavior with desirable consequences. Experiment to find the most effective forms of reinforcement that work for you and the rate of reinforcement. There are no sure-cut plans. Everyone is different. There are two theories of workers, X and Y. Theory X, assumption that most employees dislike work, avoid responsibility, and must be forced or coerced to do the job. Advantages, well, there's order, discipline, and efficiency. But the disadvantages are there's a lack of personal growth, initiative, independence, no commitment, and very little motivation. Theory Y is the assumption that most employees enjoy work, seek responsibility, and can self-direct themselves. The advantages are individual growth, responsibility, contribution, commitment, and need satisfaction. But the disadvantages are it's time consuming and there's a lack of firm direction. So let's look at some supervisory approaches for attaining positive employee motivation. Experience meaningfulness of the work. Employees believe they are doing something meaningful because their work is important to other people. Experience responsibility for outcomes of the work. Employees feel responsible for how well the work turns out. And knowledge of the actual results of the work activities. Employees learn how well they perform their job. There's also skill variety, an opportunity to do various tasks and to use a number of different skills and abilities. Everyone hates mundane, boring, repetitive work. Task identity, the completion of a whole identifiable piece of work. Task significance, the degree to which the job impacts others. Autonomy, the discretion in making decisions about the work to be done. And feedback, information an employee receives on their job performance. Let's also talk about participative management. This is probably the best and most popular method today. It produces a high morale of great workplaces consisting of pride in what you do, enjoying the people you're working with, trusting the people you work for, and by empowerment, you're giving employees the authority and responsibility to accomplish organizational objectives, make decisions, and think for themselves. In participative management, empower refers to giving employees the authority and responsibility to accomplish those objectives. Providing opportunities to make suggestions and participate in decisions affecting their jobs is one of the most effective ways to build a sense of employee pride, teamwork, and motivation. This is the preferred style in industry today. Advantages of participative management: higher quality decisions, more acceptance of decisions. But the disadvantages are it's time consuming and there's more criticism. Participatory management programs, employee suggestion programs, employee involvement programs all lead to teams, quality circles, and self-directed work teams. Immense improvement in your workplace. Motivation. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.